Welcome back to Smok'n Jay's Garage. I've got a video here that I am super excited about. We've got an MJJC foam cannon. This is their Pro. We're going to try this out. We're going to compare it on its own so that you can compare it with the foam cannon that you are using or the features that you want if you are looking for a foam cannon. I am going to compare it against my Adams foam cannon because that's what I'm currently using. And I want to see if I'm going to use this one now instead. We're going to be using Adams Mega Foam. This is what I typically use in my foam cannon, so we're going to compare it the same way. The first thing that I noticed when I got this cannon, it came in a really nice box. That's probably just a thing for me. I like boxes. I save all my empty boxes. I got a stack of them in my basement. Causes a lot of trouble in relationships because people get annoyed with that. But I like my boxes. This is a box I could reuse. Maybe put a Christmas present in there or something, or stack it up nicely. So, as you notice, I accidentally bumped this. Now, I like my Adams products, not knocking them by any means. I like the wider base on them, but if you take this one when it's empty, and just a little bit of weight on the front, and it's going to fall over. This one has a nicer base on it. You can tip it fairly far, right? It's not going to fall over nearly as easily. That's the first thing I noticed that I really like about this, that wider base. You got nice little finger grips here for unscrewing it. And this is something that I have never seen before, but I think this is kind of cool. You got a ball on the end. This is a weighted ball. You can see that. There's also a filter in that, so you shouldn't be putting dirty water in here, but there is a filter in there just in case. Now this weight, as you put this in here, whatever angle you're at, it's going to hold your nozzle, your straw, is going to be against the bottom of that cannon. So when you're getting almost empty, if you end up turning this, it's gonna drop that from side to side. You're still going to get good suction of your product inside of there. So I really like that. Now compare this to our Adams. There is a filter on the end also, but this one does not go quite all the way to the bottom, and I've noticed I always get just a little bit of product left over in there. And I don't particularly like that. It's not a huge deal. But this one looks like we're going to go all the way to the bottom there, and we're going to get everything out of it, I think. I have not tried that yet. But we're going to find out here very shortly. One thing I would like to mention, in a couple of videos that I've done using a foam cannon, people have commented about my very long wand and how I need to get a shorter one. You guys are absolutely right. Some of y'all even left me a link to a short one. I got a short one. I'm pretty excited about that. So those of you who have commented that, we did get a shorter one. Those of you who have left me a link with a shorter one, thank you for that. We're going to give that a try. I just used it enough to get all the air out of my lines, and that seems pretty cool. So here's what our car looks like right now. We just got it rained on. So we've got a lot of little crap on it. We drove in the rain. It sat in the rain. So we are going to, as soon as you take a look at that, we're going to go ahead, we're going to fill up our foam cannon. Because I'm going to use both of these to compare, I'm only going to fill them up halfway. Typically, I use 2 squirts of shampoo with the full bottle. These are very similar in size. This is 800 milliliters up to here, and this one is 1,000 milliliters up to here. So I think this one's just a little bit bigger. I'm going to fill them both about halfway, and I'm going to use 1 squirt of shampoo. So I'm going to go get these filled up, and then we're going to give them a try right away. It is really windy today. If you take a look at my flag, we got the wind coming against the back side of the garage. So hopefully we're going to keep the wind out of the video. If some of the angles you get aren't quite perfect, or you get some wind noise, I apologize for that. We're going to try to do the best we can with that. So I've got these both filled up to about 600 milliliters. I've got 1 squirt of Mega Foam in them. A couple of features that I want to mention that I forgot to mention. You have your adjustment nozzle on top here. That is going to allow more or less foam through your cannon. And also, this is adjustable, let me see, this way here. So you can adjust your span on how wide you want your foam. I'll show you once we get that started. You can also adjust the angle, so we're going to spread out this way now versus spreading out this way now. Typically, I like to spread my spread to be this way, but you have the option to change that if you want, and you can adjust how wide or how narrow you want that spread. So we're going to go ahead and give this a shot right away. Their slogan is "For Better Foam." Let's check it out right now. much wider span. Oh, well, that's a narrow one, sorry. Oh, we can get a nice wide. Let me tell you, my first impression here, that's a lot of foam. I'm pretty impressed right now. Right about there is how much I like that fan to be out. That's just me personally. This foam, I'm really impressed. Look at this foam. Like on the hood, it's not sliding a whole lot. We expect that. Look at what this is doing on the side of the car. That foam is just, I mean, obviously it's running down a little bit, but look at how nice and thick that foam is. Super, super nice foam. I am quite impressed. Now when I did, let me shut this off here and we'll talk a little more. Now I went over that a few times more than I would normally go because we wanted to show this for the video. When I did a comparison against my Adams and my Amazon foam cannon, I noticed that while I got really good foam with the Amazon one, I went through my shampoo so much faster. And I only went with half full on this. I did half my car and it's still got some left in it. So this did not just suck through the foam like what the Amazon one did. Not trying to knock the Amazon one here, but the reason that I use my Adams one over the Amazon is because I get comparable foam with the Adams and I use a lot less product to do it with. This seems like we're not using a terrible amount of product, and that is a shit ton of foam. I am super impressed. We are going to rinse this off. Take a look at this again, just sitting on here. Now it's been a few minutes. We did have a quick pause in the video there. Look at all that foam that is still on there. And obviously the idea of a foam cannon is to get as much foam as you can. So I'm gonna rinse this off and we're gonna hook up our Adams and we're gonna compare. And then I am actually probably going to, I got a little bit of foam left in there. We'll show you the Adams and then we'll do a side by side. I'll give you a squirt of this one, a squirt of that one, and we'll compare them exactly side by side. But let me grab the other cannon and rinse this off. All right, now we're rinsed off and we are going to go with the Adams. Just for reference, clockwise is going to give you the most foam. Once you turn it clockwise, that's going to lower the amount of foam that you're putting on. Both of these are turned completely clockwise, giving us the most foam that we can, okay? Spray that a little bit better so we get the flare along the top, right? So here's what we got with our Adams. Obviously really good foam yet. Lots of lubricity. Not the thick foam that just sat there. Look at how much more we have dripping off the car, especially on the sides. It's not sticking nearly as good. But in comparison, we did about the same amount of coverage on the car. And this is what I found with the other cannon also. We did not use nearly as much of the Adams as we did on the other one. However, we got a lot of foam with this, and we could turn this down just a little bit, and that would make it last longer. Although just this bottle, I feel like is going to be plenty to do our entire vehicle. So while it did take a little bit more product, I am still very impressed with the amount of foam that it did, and I don't feel like it's using too much product. When I did the Amazon one, I felt like it was using too much product to get the results. We got good results with the Adams. I've always been happy with Adams, but this MJJC is pretty freaking awesome. Another thing I did not mention, we've got a really nice engraved MJJC right on their brass fitting there. That's actually really nice. So I have noticed a few times, now this might just be mine, but I get a little bit of leakage around my top here. When I turn this, sometimes I get some stuff on my hands, and that might be just mine. I don't notice that on this one at all. Nice and dry. I'm happy about that. I love the fact that their base is a little bit wider and it's not nearly as tippy. I'm gonna rinse this off and I'm gonna do a side-by-side comparison right on the hood for you in just a second, all right? All right, we're gonna do a quick side-by-side comparison without a cut here. Do this as quickly as possible. Look at how much that foam sticks on there versus that foam sliding. This is a perfect view, and I'm going to use this as an example. So I'm not at all unhappy with the amount of product that this MJJC is using, but I really like how you get that thick foam and it sticks on there. If you want to go and foam your whole car and then come back with your bucket and wash, look at how much of that foam is still sitting there versus this is still slippery. You got a lot of lubricity, that's what you want in your foam, but it is starting to slide off now, especially on the sides of your car. A lot of that is going to fall off. A lot of this is going to stick. Now, I had this turned down as much foam as possible. For my personal use, probably going to back that off just a little bit. That's going to use a little bit less product. Still going to get good foaming results. When you come along with your bucket now, you've got your shampoo or whatever it is you have in your bucket with your rag or your mitten or whatever you're using, and you're coming over, and if you have just this much foam, you're still going to get a clean car. You're still going to get that extra lubricity that you want, but this is going to stick a lot longer. This is, I'm really impressed with what we got out of this. And again, we did use a little bit more. This shows, it looks like we used more than what we did because of the wide bottom. So we have a little bit of stuff stuck in there. We have about 200 milliliters left in this one, and we have about 300 milliliters left in this one. So this one is actually not as empty as it looks in comparison due to the narrower base on there. I am going to switch to this foam cannon for my future uses. Nothing against the Adams product at all. You guys know me, you've seen my videos, you know I love my Adams product. This is going to be my go-to cannon for the future. I am really happy with it for the reason of the thicker foam and the wider base. I really like that wider base. It's not nearly as tippy. Once this is full or even half full, it's not tippy, but this one completely empty, I feel like is a lot sturdier. That's really important to me because when I go to set this down, I don't want it tipping over. I don't want my ends all marred up. I am super happy with this. I'm super impressed with the way that they redesigned this. I know this is a new product for them, the Pro. And they do have different, there's different jets. If you have a pressure washer that does not have as much pressure, they do have a different jet in there for smaller, less pressure applications. And that might be, if you have like a electric pressure washer, that might be helpful to you. Check that out. I am going to leave a link in the description to this cannon if you want to buy it. Check out their link. These are, I believe, $59.99 at the time of filming this. And click on that link if you're interested in getting one. Go through that link and buy one. That helps us out on this channel as well. Stay tuned for more videos. We got a lot of exciting things coming up. We got a lot of new stuff that we're going to put on the boat as soon as the weather gets nice enough. We got some stuff to go on the Corvette when that comes out. We got more parts to put on the truck that are on order. We're waiting on back order. So we got a lot of things coming up. Stay tuned. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you know when that stuff is coming up. And definitely check out the link in the description for this foam cannon, MJJC, for better foam. If you're watching this channel for the first time and you haven't already, and you want to, boom, please subscribe.